Yo everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing Batwing, issue number 1. Take a look at this comic cover right here. Now I kind of feel bad for Batwing right off the bat. Why? Well, a lot of fans are already hating on this comic and the character right away. Why is that? Well, allow me to explain. Some people in the comic book community, not all, but some people see this as just a means of throwing in a black character to the Batman family, essentially creating a Batman that is black, for the sake of being black. Now, I don't think that's DC's intention. To me, it really doesn't matter if the character is white or black, Hispanic or Asian, Protestant or Catholic, Republican or Democrat. You know, for all I know, they could be worshipping the Triforce. If the character is written well and if the story is written well, that's really all that matters. And like I said, I don't think that they're doing this to create a character in the Batman family for the sake of having a black character in the Batman family. Let's look at the Batman family. There's been a lot of characters that's had different diversities, and no one's really complained about them. Take Renee Montoya. That's a character of Hispanic descent. No one complained and said, well, she's just a character in the Batman family for the sake of being Hispanic. Or how about Cassandra Cain? She's of Asian descent. No one said, well, she's a character that's Asian for the sake of being Asian. What about Michael Lane, who is also of African American descent? No one said, well, he's just a black character in the Batman family for the sake of being black. DC's not cynical like that. You don't see any of their African American characters jumping around saying Sweet Christmas. The characters are treated with respect. I mean, look at John Stewart, a fantastic character, and he's a Green Lantern that just happens to be black, not a black character that is a Green Lantern. It's just part of who he is. It doesn't make the character. It's just part of the character. Renee Montoya was lesbian. That wasn't the thing that stood out about her. That was just part of her character. Same thing about Batwoman. I mean, really, are people that cynical? Batwing, I think, is going to be a character that represents a whole different area of comic books, not necessarily just a black character in the Batman family. I think that's just a little cynical of people. The second reason why people might be avoiding this is because Judd Winick is writing it. And I said this before, but Judd Winick is kind of a mixed bag with some fans. Some people really hate him, some people really love him. My personal belief is that Judd Winick is a good writer, but he has to be under certain constraints. DC kind of has to tell him what to do. For example, in Batman Under the Hood, Judd Winick does a great job at writing the comic. DC told him, we want you to do a story that deals with Jason Todd's return, we want you to do this, this, and this. He did a great job with it, one of my favorite Batman stories. But when he was given full range of the Outsiders, it didn't really work out that well. The only great thing that came out of the Outsiders comic, outside of the first few trades, was Grace, because she was a cool character. But it kind of fell apart towards the end. I don't know how much of that was Judd Winick's fault, but, I mean, still. Judd Winick needs to be put under the right constraints. But when he is, he does really good work. Mind you, I haven't read any of his Green Arrow stuff, but I heard pretty decent stuff about it. But anyways, that's another reason people are turned off by the fact that Judd Winick is on this. Some people are excited, but some people are turned off. My response to this is that this is a new character. It's not like Judd Winick is going to write Superman incorrectly, or write Power Girl incorrectly, or write Batman incorrectly. This is a new character. He can write it how it is, and the character will pretty much be in character because it's a new character. It just got introduced in Justice League International issue 5, I believe. So for people to assume that Judd Winick is going to crash and burn in this, I think that's a little harsh. Like I said, Judd Winick is a good writer when put under the constraints, and I really hope for the best for the writer. Don't ask my friend Tom, because my friend Tom hates Judd Winick. But I honestly think Judd Winick can pull off a comic like this. He's given a chance to create this whole new universe with this new character. So, with that stuff out of the way, is Batwing a good character? Is it a good comic? Is it worth picking up? Or will it be just one of those titles that is forgotten and eventually canceled? Well, I'll let you know. So, let's jump into Batwing, issue number 1. Now, please excuse me if I mispronounce anything at all because, well, I'm horrible at pronouncing. So, here we go. Batwing, real name is David Zavinbi. I believe that's how you pronounce it. If I pronounce it incorrectly, please correct me. I want to actually know how to pronounce his name. And the story starts off with Batwing fighting this guy called Massacre. And this guy isn't really that flashy. He has a mask on, he has machetes, and he is just big, and he's causing trouble. He's fighting Batwing, and he's holding his own, and he's actually holding Batwing off so he can go and massacre some people. The name kind of gives it away. He kills people a lot. And Massacre is just, well, intimidating, for lack of a better term. As Massacre is able to stop Batwing, he starts walking over to a bus, which is, presumably he's going to kill the people on the bus. And then we flash back to some time beforehand. And we see Batwing working with Batman on a case. And this case involves a bunch of people getting killed. They're basically killed, mutilated, and their heads are cut off. Among these people is a superhero of Africa. Apparently there was a group of superheroes called the Kingdom, and they are basically responsible for a big revolution in Africa. And after the revolution was over, these characters kind of disappeared. And one of them was presumed to be one of the dead victims in this massacre. Anyways, Batwing goes to investigate this on his own. Batman only shows up for a little bit. And in addition to that, he is also part of the police. I don't know exactly what level of police he's part of, but he is part of the police. And he is working his angles in the police force as well as a superhero. However, things don't necessarily go his way, because towards the end of the book, well, something happens. Something big happens to not only Batwing's universe, the people around him, but to himself. So let's get into the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Start things off by good. The art in this is phenomenal. I really like the art. It really sets the tone for the comic, and it looks good. I think all the characters look good in this. So the art is nice. And Batwing as a character is a pretty enjoyable character. He's kind of a, how can I describe this? He's kind of a young, youthful person who can make mistakes, but he's a very smart person. It's kind of almost akin to Tim Drake in a way, in that he's very intelligent, but he still has a lot to learn. He's very inexperienced. I mean, he knows how to fight, he knows his technology, he knows how to be a detective and how to work different angles, but he still has a lot to learn. So I like how he's portrayed, and Batwing as a character is actually kind of an appealing character from the development that we get from him. And we also do get a good establishment of his universe. This is Batwing. This is the universe he lives in. Africa is a place with warlords and is constantly in conflict, and it is just not a good place. People are enslaved there, people are killed, and no one cares. It's a bad place, and we get the tone right away. And we also get the supporting cast, who he works with when he's Batwing and who he works with when he's part of the police force. And we get Massacred introduced, so we get a villain introduced right away. I also like the transition in the fact that we get this fight in the beginning and then we go to X amount of days beforehand. So I do like that kind of transition. It sets up right away where we're introduced to this action and we're kind of like, oh, what's going on? And then we go into this story. Bad. Well, I kind of wish Batman wasn't in this. I can't believe I just said that. Oh. I feel dirty. But, you know, I think it would be nice if Batwing could stand alone on its own merits. And I think he does, but I think having Batman on there just shows that you're not quite confident enough in that character yet, as either as a writer or as a company. I think Batwing can hold on its own. You don't need Batman in there. Maybe you can have Batman show up in later issues to show the connection between the Batman family and Batman Inc., but I don't think Batman's necessary. In addition to that, the ending, the surprise ending, was good, but you kind of know that certain things work out in certain angles due to what happens in the beginning. Read the issue, you'll understand. I also the other thing that I don't really get in this that I wish I did get, although we do get a good idea of who this Batwing character is, David as a character, how he thinks, how he acts, his personality, which is a very lighthearted personality in the world he's in. We don't get a full extent of his powers. I didn't read Batman Incorporated, in which he was in, so I don't know the extent of his powers. I know he has no superpowers, but exactly what can his suit do? All I know is it can make him fly, and he has some gadgets, like some bombs and stuff. But we really don't get a full extent of what his equipment can do. I think right away you have to establish the hero, establish the tone, and you also have to establish what that hero can do in a comic like this. So I would have liked a little bit more of that. In addition to that, I felt a little bit, although we get introduced to a lot, I felt as though we're in the dark about a lot of things. Like, who's this character? What's happening here? What's this location? I feel it feels as though we should already know this stuff, and we don't know this stuff. So that I didn't like. On the whole, whether or not you should get it. In my honest opinion, Batwing is not a bad comic. But it's not an entirely amazing comic either. It didn't wow me at all. I got entertainment out of it, and I got enjoyment out of it. But like I said, it really didn't wow me. I'm curious to see what happens in issue 2, and I will stick by this because, as I said, as a promise to myself and also a promise to you guys, I will collect anything in the Batman universe. So I will continue to pick this up. But as a comic on its own, this isn't for everyone right away. I think this will be for people that enjoy comics that are a little bit more extreme, because this comic is definitely very gruesome. You see decapitated bodies all over the place, mangled all over the wall, blood written on the wall. You see people get stabbed and all that. This is a very violent comic, and it has a very dark tone to it. If you like comics that have dark tones, that make you feel uneasy, that do have a bit of violence in it, you might like this. And if you also want to try something new, I think Batwing isn't a bad place to go. Also, if you enjoy the Batman family, then this is a comic that you might want to consider. However, if you don't have a lot of money on you, or if you're very picky on what you want to pick up, because again, not all of us have money to pick up everything we want. God, there's a ton of titles that I want to pick up that I just can't. But if you don't have enough money, then I do not recommend picking this up. If I had to give it a score, I would give it maybe a 3 out of 5. It was a good first issue, but it could be better. I think there's a lot of potential with this, and we're just going to have to wait and see. What people need to do is they need to get past those two things that I said beforehand. They need to get past the fact that they think that this is just a black character in the Batman family for the sake of it being a black character. And they need to get past the fact that Judd Winick is writing it, and maybe they don't like Judd Winick. If you do pick this up, to the people that I did give the recommendation to pick it up, I recommend picking it up and continue on to at least issue 2 and see where it goes from there. And to those of you that I told not to pick it up, don't pick up issue 2. But yes, if you like darker tone comics with a little bit more maturity and that are new and fun, that has like a new world to go into, pick up Batwing. If you're a Batman fan, pick up Batwing. Maybe. If you don't have enough money, or if you're not committed to the Batman family, then you can avoid this and there's no love lost. But, like I said, give Batwing a chance. Don't hate on it right away. Was it perfect? No. Is there potential? Yes. Was there enjoyment? Yes. We'll just have to wait and see if this series will get better along the way. So with that said, this is Andrew saying, peace out for now.